So this morning I was doing my journaling, and it's not personal journaling, it's like my work journal, where I kind of write out ideas and thoughts that I am having for, on behalf of, or with my people in mind. And the question that came up for me today was, I keep hearing my clients say, I just don't have time. Like, they value reflection, they value quiet, they know that there is something really special about being in communion with themselves and also being in communion with God, like being in conversation with God. And they know that the best guidance and their absolute clarity comes from time with and for themselves. But they have had a really hard time finding time. In their minds, they're just like, every waking moment I have is spent doing things I have to do. It is with work, it is with meetings, it is with agendas. Like, I don't know what it's like to be in a space where there is no agenda. And so I wanted to put something together for that person. And I'm almost tempted to just kind of read what I wrote, partially as a middle finger to AI. I feel like these days it's really hard to tell what is AI and what is real. And, if you have read anything of mine, it is mine. Almost all of my work starts on something like this. Like, this is a post that I wrote on LinkedIn a couple of days ago. It comes, I sat on my little ploof, which is over there on the floor, and I grabbed my Post-its and I just wrote it out. No AI. And I did the same thing this morning, and I thought, like, I might actually just read it, and we'll see where that takes us, right? This is for people who feel like they never have time, like they barely have time for all the other things that they have to do, and any downtime you do have, all you want to do is rest. Close your eyes and do nothing. And when you open your eyes, it's time to start the cycle all over again. Let me tell you why that's happening. Because many of us have been taught that hard work leads to success. We have followed a formula that kind of looks like time multiplied by effort equals success. Because that's the belief we've subscribed to, any decrease in either time or effort feels like a threat to our success. And because we are, or have identified ourselves as successful, because other people have regarded us as successful, any decrease in time or effort on producing doesn't just feel like a threat to our career. It feels like a threat to our identity. It feels like a personal threat, like somebody is standing over us in the dark. So what do? We turn on the lights and we get back to work. Our identity, our livelihood, our very essence is tied to or tangled up in our success. If we keep following this time multiplied by effort formula, we'll never slow down. We'll never work less hard. So what I want to offer you is an alternative to hard work equals success. And if you try on this alternative, you'll find that taking time for yourself and reducing your effort, not achieving by force, not constantly depleting yourself, will feel less like a threat and more like life-generating breath. I want you to feel that for a second. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. One more for good measure. See how that feels? You ready? Here's the alternative. Aligned work leads to significance. Now, significance is impact with ease. It's meaning with margin. And it happens not when you spend countless hours working or working harder, waking up earlier to squeeze in a little bit of something for yourself with little to no gas in the tank. Significance requires that you ask and answer only one question. What am I uniquely positioned to do? What work is a perfect match to my experience, and what conversations stimulate me, activate me, and energize me? Then you look at your calendar for the week, looking through that lens, right? You're looking through the lens of like, what is uniquely mine to do? What am I uniquely positioned to do? What of this work, when I look at it, I know that there is nobody on the planet who could do it as well as I could do it, there's nobody whose perspective who'd be better suited for that thing, where that specific moment, that circumstance, that meeting, that conversation is a match to who you are, your perspective, and what you are gifted to bring to that moment, right? I want you to look through that lens at your calendar. And you're going to conduct what I call a mini audit. There's a full audit, which is why this is a mini audit. You're going to conduct a mini audit, looking for 1 to 2 things on your calendar that are not aligned to you. How can I do this? And then you're going to ask yourself, look at the things, you're going to go, oh, here's one thing on my calendar, and I look at that and I'm like, that's not uniquely suited to me. Somebody else could do that. That does not energize me. That does not interest me. That does not leverage my skills. That does not leverage my strengths. That does not require my unique perspective and my insights. Once you identify those things, just 1, maybe 2, maybe you'll look at your calendar and be like, oh my gosh, I got a whole bunch of things on here that actually don't require me. I want you to look at your calendar and identify 1 to 2 of those things. And once you see them, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. The first question is there a way that I can do this, or can I do this in a way that is aligned to me? Let me give you an example. You might have a 30-minute meeting on your calendar. You know what question you're going to wrap your head around in that meeting. Maybe you can just say, like, here are my insights on this. Why don't you take a stab at it with this in mind and come back to me? That might be aligned with your perspective. Maybe you look at the meeting and you say, you know what? The question you are really trying to grapple with, I'm not the best person to tackle that. How about you talk to this person over here, get their insights, and then come back to me with what you think. Just send me an email that walks me through where you plan on going, and I can give you my thoughts and feedback that way. You've just eliminated 30 minutes off your calendar, doing something that's not somebody else's work, and you've invited them to come back to you in a way that does align with your perspective and the way that you work. Right? Makes sense? So the first question you're going to ask is, can I do this in a way that is aligned to me? And the way that you can test that is, like, can I do this with ease? Ease is not easy. Ease is without an energetic drain. Ease is like, is it going to deplete me to do this thing? If the answer to that is no, then that is with ease. Now, you can be really good at something. It can come easy to you, and it can, like, drain your battery a little bit. That's fine. The things we're on the lookout for are those things that drain your energy disproportionate to the energy that it gives you, right? If it drops your energy down 10 points and it only gives you 2 points of energy, now you're operating at a negative, right? That's not ease. Okay, so that's how you want to think about ease and energy. If you cannot do it in a way that is aligned to you, then the second question you want to ask is, who is this aligned to? Because we talk a little bit about delegating in our work, and we're like, well, just give it to your EA, or just give it to... that's when people get frustrated because they're just like, you're just passing the buck. What you want to do is find out like, whose strengths does this align with? Who is uniquely positioned to do this thing? And can that be offered to them as a way for them to leverage their strengths and their skills to activate and energize them, right? So it's not about passing the buck. It's about matching the task to the person who is most aligned to do it, right? The third thing I want to invite you to think about is like, you almost, you know what, I want to think about this. It's like you're running it through a filter. Is this something I am uniquely positioned to do? Yes. Is there a way that I can do it that is easier, less of a drain than the way I currently have it on my calendar? If so, make the adjustment. Next. If it is something that I am not uniquely positioned to do, then the next question is like, who is this more aligned to? And we're not talking about like who just has capacity. Like we're not passing off things because this person has capacity and you don't, right? That's not the filter. The question is, who is uniquely positioned? Who is in a better position? Whose skills, strengths, perspectives, and insight are a perfect match for this thing? And then you talk to that person. You say, hey, I actually think this is more aligned to your voice, your perspective, your insights. Can you take a look at this and let me know what you think? Off your plate. Come back to that later, right? If you cannot find, if it's not aligned to you, if it is not aligned to somebody else you know, then the third question, the third pressure test is like, is this something that falls into that time multiplied by effort success formula? Is this something that I am doing to protect my success? Is this something that I am doing to prove or uphold or maintain my status? Because if it is one of those things, it's like drilling a hole in your own boat. It is consuming your time. It is making you work 10 times harder to go nowhere, right? And those are the things, maybe you have one of them on your calendar. If you do, I want to invite you to cancel it. I know. It feels some kind of way in here. But here's the thing. You are not going to get off of the time multiplied by effort hamster wheel until you like put a stake in the ground and stop the wheel, right? Like you have been drilling holes in your own boat, subscribing to this belief that hard work leads to success. And you got a boat full of holes trying to like row your way forward. Friends, I love you. You have got to stop drilling holes and you've got to plug some of the holes that you've already drilled. And the only way that you can do that is if you look at them and go, oh, that's a hole. I'm going to plug just that one. I'm going to cancel just that one thing. Let the chips fall where they may. And I'm going to recoup that energy. I'm going to recoup that time for myself, right? Now, if you do that, if you ask those three things, what you should see at the end of your like mini audit is like a calendar where you're like, oh, there's a hole at the bottom of my boat. There's a hole at the bottom of my boat. Here's something that I'm not best positioned to do, but John over there is best positioned to do. Let me have a conversation with John and say, hey, I actually think this might be something that warrants your attention based on like you are really good at this, you're really good at that. I think this is actually a good marrying of your strengths and insights. Would you take a look at it? I'm going to take this off of my calendar for now. Can you and I circle back at the top of next week? And then you look at something on your calendar and you're like, oh, now this right here, that excites me, that energizes me. It's a good use of my strengths. It's a good use of my talents. That's where I want to spend my energy this week. Great. that should clear up some space, right? That's how you find time. And not only do you find time, but you also find aligned activities that give you energy. And if those things give you energy, then you enjoy your work 10 times more than you would paddling extra hard while also drilling holes at the bottom of your boat, right? Now, if you are an achiever, I was going to say an overachiever, but we're like getting out of that overachiever, do all the things mode. If you are an achiever and you are like, yes, I want to do this, and here's a little challenge I have for you. I want you to add one thing to your calendar. And I know you're like, man, that's not the point. Yes, it kind of is. I want you to look at your calendar, and I want you to think, what's one thing that I could look forward to this week? Something that just lights me up, excites me, something that would feel like I'm cheating to do it in the middle of the day. It could be something like, I'm actually going to go get ice cream in the middle of the day just because. I'm actually going to call a good friend of mine who I have been missing and really wanting to talk to in the middle of the day just because. Energizing things, right? I want you to look at your calendar. This is a bonus. This is like advanced level. This is like AP physics next level. Only if you want to. No shame if you don't. Maybe you're like, I'll try that next week. Whatever the case, look at your calendar after you've done the mini audit, cleared up some space, plugged a hole that was in your boat, and then add something that makes you shimmy. Feels like you're cheating a little bit. Add it to your calendar. And then to safeguard it, to protect it, to make it sacred, here's what I want you to do. Tell your executive assistant that nothing is more important than that time you have blocked on your calendar. If you're anything like most of my clients, your executive assistants are like waiting for you to let go a little bit, to cut up, to be a little sneaky in the best possible way. So in this way, by having a conversation with your EA and saying, look, we're going to put it on the calendar and we're going to hold that time sacred, I imagine your EA is going to be like, ooh, yes, please, let's do that, right? So this is a way that you can get an hour on your schedule while also getting energy back. And if you take the bonus, you're making an energetic deposit, right? You are teaching yourself that not only can you take time for yourself, not only can you work less hard, but you can also do things that refuel you and have it feel good and be supported in the process, right? So that's how you get an hour back. You get an hour back plus energy, and you have a process for looking at your calendar every single week and conducting a mini audit. Now, if you were like, ooh, this whole notion of like auditing my calendar and auditing my time and gaining energy seems really exciting to me, and you want a deeper dive, there are two ways that I can support you. One, just for watching this video, there is a 10 reflection questions. Let me not make it up. What did I call it? 10 questions for reflection for the aligned leader. And I know one of the things that my people struggle with is like, what are the questions I can ask myself to guide my own reflection and growth? And so I don't want you to have to think about it. Like, I want you to be able to look at your calendar, do the mini audit, see these pockets of space where you can have that quiet, where you can do your own reflection. I want you to be able to just like go to this document, pull a question, take 10 minutes and go, oh, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to focus on me, to focus on my growth, to do something that gives me energy, that enlightens me, that makes me feel like a whole, growing, evolving human, even in the middle of the day. So you can download these 10 questions. It's a nice, cute little PDF. You just pick a question, treat yourself to a 10-minute reflective, silent moment or journaling moment in the middle of the day, totally fine. If you want a deeper dive, if you are like, okay, so this is the mini audit, how do I do a more comprehensive time and energy audit to support my own growth and development, to help me have more time and energy for the things that matter most to me? If you are interested in that, then I invite you to check out the energy management system. It is the kinder, more compassionate way to be productive. So you can stop hustling at work. You didn't become an executive so you could hustle. I want you to hustle less and live and lead better. Check it out. See you on the other side.